All right, let's talk about something pretty great. Imagine extending your summer. Actually getting to use your pool for months longer than you usually do, all while cutting your energy bills way, way down. Well, it's not some futuristic dream, it's what solar pool heating can do. And we're going to break down exactly how it works right here in the UK. And the first number you really need to wrap your head around is this one, 80%. Yeah, that's how much you could potentially slash from your pool heating bill. A number that big isn't just a small improvement, it's a total game changer. So, what's the big promise here? Well, it's actually pretty simple. It's about taking that famously short UK swimming season and stretching it into a long, genuinely luxurious experience. But, and this is the best part, without those eye-watering energy bills that normally come along for the ride. Just think about what that actually means for your year. We're talking about turning a standard 18-week season into a 24 or maybe even a 28-week luxury. That's potentially months of extra fun, extra relaxation from an investment you've already made in your home. And listen, it's not just about having more swimming days, it's about having better swimming days. This is the difference between that quick, teeth-chattering jump into some bracing 18-degree water and a long, comfortable swim where the pool is a perfect 22 to 26 degrees Celsius. Ah, much better. So, the big question, how does it all actually work? Well, the first thing you need to know is that when we say solar for heating a pool, it's probably not what you're picturing in your head. See, this isn't about those familiar PV panels that generate electricity for your house. Nope, forget all about wiring. This is all about plumbing. It's a solar thermal system, and it's designed to do one job and one job only, to heat your pool water directly using the raw power of the sun. And you know what? The process itself is beautifully simple. Your existing pool pump, the one you already have, just pushes water up to these solar collectors on your roof or a frame. The sun then bakes those collectors, the water flows through them, soaks up all that lovely heat, and then cycles right back into the pool. It's basically a giant radiator, but working in reverse. And the result of that simple little cycle? Well, on a decent sunny day, this system can raise the temperature of your entire pool by a massive 3 to 8 degrees. Now that is a difference you are absolutely going to feel. Okay, let's get to the part everyone's waiting for, the money. Because let's be honest, heating a pool in the UK with a traditional electric heater can feel a bit like just setting fire to a pile of cash. This is where we need to shift our thinking from a painful, recurring expense to a really smart long-term investment. And this chart really tells the whole story. A standard electric heater might cost you around 624 quid a year to run. A solar setup? It can knock anywhere from 400 to 800 pounds off that bill. In fact, in a lot of cases, the savings you make are actually bigger than the original running cost. So what's the long game here? Well, you're looking at a payback period somewhere between 3 and 7 years. And once you pass that point, you've done it. Your heat is pretty much free for the entire life of the system. Now about that initial investment, you've basically got two paths to choose from. If you're pretty handy and you're doing a simple ground level install, a DIY kit will probably set you back between 800 and 1,800 pounds. But, and this is important, if you're dealing with a 2-story roof, trust me, a professional install for 2 to 3 grand is the way to go for safety, for peace of mind, and for the warranty. Okay, this all sounds fantastic on paper, but now we have to tackle the elephant in the room, the big question that everyone in the UK is thinking. What about our famously gray, cloudy skies? I mean, this is the real question, isn't it? Does this whole setup just become a very expensive ornament on your roof for half the year? Or is there a bit more to the story? Well, this is where the science is actually pretty cool. The secret is something called diffuse radiation, and that's just a fancy term for a really simple idea. Even when it's cloudy, UV light is still punching right through that cloud cover and getting to the ground. So yeah, of course, the system's performance is going to drop on a cloudy day, maybe by about 30 to 50%. But the key thing is, it doesn't just switch off. It never stops working completely. It's still gathering heat, still adding it to your pool, just a little less intensely. Now, to make sure this all works effectively, especially here in the UK, you have got to get the sizing right. You can't just wing it. There's a golden ratio, and believe me, it is absolutely critical to get this right. So let's make that real. Say you have a pretty typical 32 square meter pool. You're going to need at least 16 square meters of collector panels, and that's if you have a perfect south-facing roof. If your roof faces east or west, you've got to add another 20 to 30% more collector area just to make up for that less direct sunlight. Okay, now let's talk about protecting this investment. Once you have this amazing system installed, there is one non-negotiable, absolutely must-follow rule. And I'm not being dramatic here. Getting this wrong can completely destroy your entire system in just one season. We're talking about an irreversible mistake. The process is called winterization, and it means that every single autumn, before that first frost even thinks about showing up, you have to completely drain all the water out of the collectors. If you don't, any water trapped in there will freeze, it will expand, and it will literally split the tubes wide open. If you miss this step just once, your investment is ruined by springtime. Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one last, kind of surprising thought. We spent all this time talking about how to generate heat, but it turns out the single most effective part of the entire system is actually all about keeping the heat you've already made. And this number is just, well, it's wild. The hidden hero, the unsung champion of this whole setup, isn't the fancy collector on your roof. It's the humble pool cover. Why? Because a good cover can literally double the efficiency of your solar heating system. It stops heat from escaping through evaporation, which is where you lose most of your energy, especially overnight. So the final question really isn't about solar panels or payback periods. It's this. Is it really worth investing thousands of pounds to heat your water if you aren't disciplined enough to do the simplest, most effective thing of all, and just keep it covered? Something to think about.